Hi, this is Vanessa, and I will be doing a close reading of an extract from the film Children of Men, directed by Alfonso Cuarón. As the clip I have chosen to review is very visually pleasing and symbolic, I've decided to focus on reviewing the more visual aspects of it. So I will be looking at the lighting, mise-en-scene, and costuming of the characters. I will also be analysing these things and trying to understand the director's reasons for doing things in these ways. In the opening frames, we see a vast expanse of dead-looking land with a smoggy sky topping it. Something to note in these first few seconds is, even though the lighting is dull and dreary, Theo, Key, and Miriam drive through in a bright yellow car. I think this was planned because yellow is an international sign for hope and happiness, and the key to the next generation, Key, is sitting in the car, therefore bringing hope to this depressing scenery. The next example of lighting in this shot is when Theo awakens to sunlight pouring in on his face. The weather and air looks much more pleasant than it did in the day previous, where we saw orangey brown smog. I think this is because of their location, which is the primary school. Throughout the movie, everything is drab and sad. Hope has been lost for humanity because of the lack of children. Children are seen as the innocent happiness in life, and as they are not aware of anything negative yet. They are blissfully ignorant and filled with love for the world. Once they are not in the picture anymore, the adults forget how to love the world and only think about survival. The primary school is the place these kids stayed for most of their days, therefore making it a hopeful kind of place. The exterior of this place, even though slightly overrun with nature, still seems hopeful. This is where the bright light is a symbol for hope. We see this emphasized as Theo leaves the bright lighting on the exterior of the primary school and walks into the shadows and see how abandoned the inside of the school is. The fact that the inside of the school has quite dim lighting gives us the idea that if bright light is a symbol for hope, shadows in an abandoned school can represent the abandonment of hope by humanity. I think this was done by Alfonso as he tried to keep a theme running of finding hope in a hopeless place throughout the movie, and lighting was an easy way to convey this idea. The mise-en-scene in this clip is very important, as obviously they are in a primary school, which has great symbolism by itself, but the way the set has been made to look completely overgrown and wild shows us how much the adults have given up on the world. No one bothered to maintain it or even demolish it, they just left it there to rot. The pictures on the wall show the innocence of the children there before, and the graffiti over top shows us how we can assume they grew up. The room in which Miriam sits in has broken windows with a sagging roof and a destroyed overall feeling to it. The lighting is the only thing that brings positivity into the room. I believe that the set was designed in this way to create a feeling of sadness and mourning in us, the audience. I believe that in designing this set, the intention was for the audience to reflect back into ourselves, and it makes us think, is this what we would do? Would we let this happen if children were no longer an option? We are made to feel sad, and we feel the hopelessness that the characters do, which I believe is the director's intention as to further push the idea of finding hope in a hopeless place. The costuming of Theo and Miriam in this scene gives us hints at our characters' futures or past and shows us their place in the film. Theo's all-black outfit makes him defined as a very important character, and his coat gives him an air of dominance. The colour black is a very foreboding colour. It symbolises, I think, how hopeless for the future he is, or was, and also, I think, symbolises his death to come, mostly because black is the international colour for death. Miriam in this scene reveals more about herself than we have ever heard before. We hear that she was a midwife and she was there at the start. I think her costuming now, with her heavy plaid jacket, plain cream pants, and dreadlocks, is the visual effect that the demise of children has had on her. I think that maybe Miriam has changed into a more spiritual person since children left the situation, maybe got her dreads and became more at one with nature. This is of course all based on assumption, but I think it is a safe assumption as spiritualism is a way we see many people help themselves in this film. And as a midwife in a hospital, there may have been certain presentation codes in order for everyone to be comfortable with her, so the dreads may have been out of the question earlier on. The theory I think that best fits this extract and the film in general is Claude Levi-Strauss's binary opposite theory. This is the theory that all narrative can be read in terms of binary opposites, for example, good versus bad, dark versus light, and in this case, though this may be repetitive, hope versus hopelessness. The director's intention with this film was to display how people find hope in hopeless situations. The whole film can really be divided into the hopefuls and the hopeless. Hopefuls are the fishers and people like in The Human Project. Hopeless people are the renegades that set fire and throw things at cars for no good reason. Theo and his ex Julian are also good examples. Julian was hopeful, she pushed for fairness. Theo lost hope completely and stayed in his own world. In this scene, the hope and the hopelessness can be read in the shadows, the light, the scenery, the costumes, and even in the song Key sings. I think the binary opposite theory fits very snugly with the film and believe it's a very easy way to read it. Righto, that is the end of my close reading of Children of Men. I hope I was not horrifically inaccurate in any way, and in summation, I would like to say that this film was very interesting and inspired a lot of thought in myself over the hope of humanity, and just in general made me think about the way things could turn out. That's all for this commentary, so I will bid ye a good day.